Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're diving into the journey of entrepreneurship, but we're looking at it in a completely different, raw, and honestly, deeply psychological light. It's not some sterile corporate exercise, no. It is a trial by fire. We're going to explore the literal internal war happening right now inside your mind.
And here is the brutal, unfiltered truth we just have to accept right out of the gate. Growth is pain, and success is suffering. I know, it sounds intense, right? But if you want endless growth, you have to realize that it means willingly walking into years, maybe even decades, of mental discomfort. So why does it hurt so much? Well, we can think of this as the wall of flames. Literally, an agonizing stretch of mental growing pains that sits squarely in the gap between who you are right now today and the absolute kick-ass CEO you need to become. You can't just fly over it. You can't dig under it. To evolve, you literally have to walk right through the fire.
Because inside your mind, there is an absolute deathmatch happening. On one side, you have your current self, and this version of you has a massive survival bias. It craves comfort, it loves the familiar, it wants stagnation. But on the other side, that's your becoming self. That's the part of you fighting for growth, for evolution, for your true potential. And every single time you try to grow, your current self fights to the death to stop you. That clash, that friction, that is the source of the flames.
Section 1. Blueprint of the Night, Structuring the Business. Let's move from that psychological battlefield into practical reality. It's really fascinating how our sources break this down, because surviving that fire requires actual, literal armor. It requires structure, 4 main pillars to be exact. First, the CO pillar, which is your why, your strategy, your culture. Then product, developing what you actually sell. Customer is your marketing, sales, and support journey. And finally, the business pillar, which keeps the operations, finance, IT, and legal stuff running. Building these 4 pillars, that is the exact work your current self is terrified of doing.
Let's actually break those down a bit further into the essential functions every small business absolutely needs. And yes, listen up, because this applies even to solopreneurs who might think, oh, structures aren't for me. You need finance, sales and marketing, customer support, operations, admin, IT, and legal. If you want to avoid just burning out in those flames, you have got to stop hiding in the weeds of your daily tasks and actually establish these functions. You know the saying, you have to work on your business, not just in it.
But a major hurdle here is actually understanding your own role. You are likely either a visionary or an integrator. Most entrepreneurs, well, we're visionaries. We're full of amazing, game-changing ideas, but let's be real, we're totally prone to shiny object syndrome. To survive, a visionary desperately needs an integrator, someone to take those grand dreams and turn them into repeatable operational reality.
Tamer Shaheen hits the nail right on the head here. He says, to be the CEO, you need to have an organizational chart and structure for your business. Defeating burnout demands mapping this out. It's not just about grinding and working harder, it's about building a machine that can actually scale.
Now, in the early stages, sure, you're at the top as the CEO, but let's be honest, you're also occupying every single box underneath that. You're doing the sales, the marketing, the operations, the whole shebang. The absolutely crucial mindset shift here is realizing that you're just temporarily wearing these hats. They are not yours to keep forever. Because to truly evolve, you must map out future roles and systematically start delegating. You start bringing in outsourced accountants, virtual assistants, copywriters. And yeah, stepping into true leadership and giving up control of those boxes, it is painful, it feels risky, but it is the physical manifestation of your becoming self finally taking the wheel.
Section 2. The Dragon of Resistance.
This dragon, this faceless force trying to stop you, uses what our sources call the web of cope. So instead of making those terrifying cold calls, it traps you in endless research mode. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It weaponizes your perfectionism, your self-doubt, your desire for comfort and distraction. These aren't just lazy excuses. They are literally your current self, begging you to avoid the pain of growth.
So I really have to ask you, what on earth is your weapon against this dragon? How do you possibly defeat an antagonist that knows all your deepest insecurities, all your weaknesses, and lives entirely inside your own mind?
Well, here is your answer. Your sword is simply the work. That's it. It's the agonizing, unglamorous act of sitting down, setting up those business systems we mapped out earlier, making the sales calls, and delegating tasks directly in the face of fear. The current self is going to fight you with psychological warfare for sure, but the becoming self fights back with relentless, disciplined execution. The work wins every single time. You just have to choose to pick it up. And that brings us to the actual mathematical formula of growth. Check this out. Pain equals resistance plus effort. When you feel that massive internal resistance screaming at you to procrastinate, and you meet it head-on with relentless effort, the byproduct is pain. But this is a productive pain. It is the real-time, instantaneous feedback signal that you are successfully evolving into your becoming self. Honestly, if your work is totally pain-free, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
It's super helpful to think of this as a bank of suffering. Every single time you make the hard choice to push through that resistance, you are essentially depositing pain dollars into an internal account. You're earning bargaining power with the universe to purchase your ultimate success. But if you take the easy way out and give in to that web of cope, you are just burning through your hard-earned balance.
As you build up that balance in the bank of suffering, an amazing thing happens. You actually get to rewrite your internal narrative. By facing that productive pain directly, you start to identify the exact holes and weaknesses in your character and your business. You patch those weaknesses, you revisit your empowering purpose, and you start to fully, authentically inhabit this new, kick-ass CEO identity. You literally become a better person precisely because of the fire you chose to walk through.
Section 3. The Toll for Freedom. I want to leave you with this final, incredibly provocative thought from our sources. Future you will always beat current you. This whole agonizing journey of scaling a business, it is not a punishment. It is the glorious, necessary toll required for ultimate freedom. The challenge for you today is to look your resistance dead in the eye, pick up the sword of the work, and push right through those flames. So what painful action are you going to take today to let your future self win? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep building.